Welcome back, traders. Today, we're doing a full technical breakdown of Ondo Finance, Ondo, against USDC on the daily chart. We're using Heikin-Ashi candles with an adaptive supertrend, the Lindsay target balloon, the infinity signal projection clone, and the machine learning RSI, bull vision. Important call-out before we begin. The infinity signal and the Lindsay indicator are predictive tools. They project expected momentum and target zones. The supertrend and machine learning RSI are lagging. They tell us what momentum already did. Keep both types in mind as we walk through this. On the main pane, we're using Heikin-Ashi candles to smooth noise and emphasize trend. Price recently dropped sharply from the earlier range near roughly $0.9 and is now trading around the mid $0.6 to $0.75 area depending on the latest candle. Heikin-Ashi has produced a string of red candles with relatively shallow bodies after the violent drop. That tells us selling pressure is still present but has started to compress. Compression after a sharp move often leads to either a bounce or a continuation. We need the indicators to tell us which. At the top, the adaptive supertrend is currently red and sitting above price. That's a classic lagging confirmation of a bearish short-term structure. Until price closes convincingly above the supertrend and it flips color, the trend is technically bearish. Think of the supertrend as the official trend filter. It requires a convincing bullish break before we take any bullish bias seriously. Next up is the Lindsay trident or target balloon. This is a predictive tool that dynamically places a target or resistance balloon based on momentum geometry. Right now, the Lindsay balloon is positioned above price, which means the indicator expects the price to be under resistance and is projecting a higher target that price has not yet reached. When the balloon sits above price like this, it typically acts as moving resistance. If the balloon slides underneath price in later sessions, that would be a clear early sign the momentum profile is changing to bullish. For now, because it's above price, Lindsay aligns with the idea that the current move is corrective and not yet recovered. Now, the most forward-looking pane, the infinity signal, which is effectively a projected stochastic RSI. Two important things to call out here. The live lines. The green line is the fast K, and the red line is the slower D. The projected lines to the right, the lighter gray line is a continuation of the green K projection, and the darker gray line is a continuation of the red D projection. On this chart, you can see the live Stoch lines have recently been in the lower range, indicating oversold to neutral. The gray projection shows the green line lifting slightly and the red line following, creating a small projected cross. That's a predictive signal implying a short-term bounce may occur. But note the projection then bends and shows a red arrow near the top of that projected swing. That implies the model projects the bounce will run into resistance and could roll over again. So, infinity signal is forecasting a modest lift, then a likely stall unless buyers push strongly through resistance. Down low is the machine learning RSI, bull vision. This indicator smooths RSI with a Kalman filter and provides a data-driven trend read. Right now, the histogram is red and below the midline, confirming the current bias is bearish. There's a slight flattening to the bars, which can indicate that selling intensity is slowing, but it hasn't turned green. Because this is a lagging oscillator, it's confirming the downside momentum that already occurred rather than predicting a new trend. We want to see this histogram move higher and cross to aqua or green if we're going to trust any projected bounce from the infinity signal. What do all these signals say together? Predictive stack, infinity signal, and Lindsay both hint at a near-term reaction. The infinity projection shows a small lift, and the Lindsay balloon sits overhead as dynamic resistance. That combination often plays out as a short bounce into resistance. Lagging stack, supertrend is red, and the machine learning RSI is still bearish. Those indicators confirm that despite the projected lift, the broader short-term context remains bearish until we see real confirmation. Translation: expect a probable short-term bounce, but treat it as a relief rally unless price breaks the supertrend and the MLRSI flips to confirm. The predictive tools give you an early heads up. The lagging tools require confirmation before we change our position bias. From a pure technical perspective and not financial advice, here's a practical forecast to watch. Short term, next several days. A modest rebound toward the $0.8 to $0.9 area is technically plausible based on the infinity projection. Expect the rebound to meet resistance, principally the Lindsay balloon area and the supertrend overhead. Key resistance to watch, the Lindsay target/supertrend region. A clean daily close above that area would be the first evidence of a trend change. Support and invalidation. If price fails to hold the present support zone around the mid-$0.6, the predictive bounce will likely fail and price could revisit lower support. Confirmation for bulls? Look for the Stochastic RSI projected lines to cross upward, the MLRSI histogram to shift toward aqua or green, and the adaptive supertrend to flip to green. That trifecta would be a strong bullish confirmation. Concrete things I'll be watching and that you should too. The projected cross on the infinity signal. The gray lines. If that cross fails and instead turns down, the bounce is unlikely. The Lindsay balloon. If it drops beneath price on a daily close, that's a very early bullish signal. The machine learning RSI shifting green. This will confirm momentum is changing, not just a short-lived relief move. A daily close above the supertrend, the most conservative confirmation of a trend flip. If you found this breakdown helpful, hit like and subscribe. I post AI-driven technical updates like this regularly. Drop a comment. Do you think Ondo will hold support and bounce, or will sellers push it lower first? Remember, this is analysis, not financial advice. Trade carefully and always do your own research. I'll see you in the next update.